Hey, Tiff, good evening. That's right, and President Trump today was meeting in the Oval here with Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi, saying that Japan has, quote, really stepped up to the plate, unlike NATO. And this is coming as today a joint statement was released by Britain, France, Germany, Italy, the Netherlands, and Japan, saying that they're ready to, quote, join appropriate efforts to ensure safe passage through the Hormuz Strait and take steps to stabilize energy markets. Take a look.
But honestly, Japan, China, Europe, parts of Europe, get a lot of their oil through the Strait. We get none. And then in the case of NATO, they don't want to help us defend the Strait, and they're the ones that need it. But now they're getting much nicer because they're seeing my attitude. They're getting much nicer. But it's, as far as I'm concerned, it's too late.
President Trump criticizing NATO countries for the delayed military support a day after he warned them, musing, I wonder what would happen if we finished off what's left of the Iranian terror state and let the countries that use it, we don't, be responsible for the so-called strait. That would get some of our non-responsive allies in gear and fast. Meanwhile, the president saying the U.S. is not putting boots on the ground in the Middle East.
No, I'm not putting troops anywhere. If I were, I certainly wouldn't tell you, but I'm not putting troops.
That's as the White House and Pentagon double down, asserting that military advantage comes from keeping classified details classified.
We're not going to tell people how many or how long or what we're willing to do or what we're not willing to do.
Why didn't you tell U.S. allies in Europe and Asia, like Japan, about the war before attacking Iran?
Well, one thing, you don't want to signal too much. You know, when we go in, we went in very hard, and we didn't tell anybody about it because we wanted surprise. Who knows better about surprise than Japan? Okay, why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbor? Okay.
Meanwhile, the Pentagon drawing a clear line between Operation Epic Fury and the long wars in Iraq and Afghanistan.
The media here, not all of it, but much of it, wants you to think, just 19 days into this conflict, that we're somehow spinning toward an endless abyss, or a forever war, or a quagmire. Nothing could be further from the truth.
War Secretary Hegseth saying that the operation is laser-focused, with the objectives remaining the same as they were on day one. No nuclear Iran, no ballistic missiles, and destroying the regime's navy. President Trump saying the U.S. is substantially ahead of schedule.
Hear it from me, one of hundreds of thousands who fought in Iraq and Afghanistan, who watched previous foolish politicians like Bush, Obama, and Biden squander American credibility. This is not those wars. President Trump knows better. Epic Fury is different. It's laser-focused. It's decisive.
Meanwhile, Tiff, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is saying that Iranian defections are occurring at multiple levels of the Iranian government and military, and he's predicting that the regime will, quote, ultimately collapse within itself. He's also announcing that the U.S. is moving to seize those funds that were transferred abroad by those Iranian defectors with the goal of returning them to the Iranian people. Back to you.
All right, Mari, thanks for those updates.